Hey everybody, thanks for watching, thanks for coming back, and welcome to another episode in this build series on the 21 Plus Bronco Prerunner. Well, what we got here is the new tie rods, all finished and installed. So now we're ready to do some real testing on the suspension. So here we're just going to run it through a gamut of different articulation, different obstacles, different speeds, just to get a feel for it. And everything seemed to go pretty good. Rode real nice. I'm not running a stabilizer on here, and it seems to handle pretty well on the road, even without the stabilizer. Alright, now we're going to get working on the rear end. So the rear suspension, I'm fabricating it, and unfortunately I did lose most of the footage. So I'll throw in a little bit of what I have left here. Basically jump ahead and show you what those fabs look like. These are the prototype pieces. Once again, just keep in mind the production units will look a little different from these prototypes, but the functionality will be identical. Here we're just traveling the rear suspension, checking clearances, making sure everything lines up and adds up with what was in the computer, and so far so good. Now we'll just bolt the rest of the suspension in. Alright, so we have the rear suspension installed, and I've already taken it for a spin, as you can see. So we have 14-inch coilovers, dual rate setup with a reservoir. We got a hoop in here that is all bolt in. There is a few holes you have to drill or at least open up in the frame here that mounts into the factory strut well there, and then picks up a point back here on the frame. And then we utilize the old shock mounting location for our trailing arm, which gets a new mount on the frame. And that does bolt down to the frame, no drilling required there. And here's what we got underneath. We've got limiting straps on both sides. I will be adding bump cans. We're taking this thing up on the sand dunes tomorrow, give it a test run. Oh, and I do have a track bar drop bracket here, just brings it straight down 4 inches, which is the ride height that this thing is going to have. It's going to be a 4-inch overstock, at least with the base model. Alright, I'll slap some cameras under here and we'll get some video of this thing going through the whoops. And maybe get a little bit of air. I don't have bump cans on it yet, so I don't want to get too crazy, but I'm going to get limiter straps front and rear so we can at least not have to worry about pulling a shock apart. Oh, one thing to note, I have an aftermarket skid plate in here that interferes. And actually, this interfered with the bolt that's protruded out from right back here as it was. And then, of course, that's just exacerbated by adding travel to the suspension here. Alright. Once I prove out this geometry in this system, so far everything cycles really nice. I've had the shocks off and cycled the suspension all the way through, up and down. And we are getting 20 inches of travel here. I've just limited that a little bit. I've taken a couple inches out to hook up the limiter straps just to keep those shocks safe. We don't want them bottoming out on the extension. We don't want them to full extend out because those can just blow apart. They're not really built for taking that kind of abuse, especially when you're running a big 150-pound 37-inch tire on here and that thing's just constantly slamming as you're going off of a whoop or catching air or what have you. So yeah, keep them safe. Put some limiters on there. You do have to drop the tank to put these two bolts in. Again, these are factory holes, so this is just a bolt-in bracket. And we've already run this down the road. I've had it up 70 plus mile an hour, and we took it into town and drove it around. And even without a stabilizer in the front, the thing drives and handles fantastic. The steering is beautiful. The tires don't squawk or nothing when you turn sharp as you want. So really happy. The thing seems to be pretty dialed in, pretty much right out of the box. That's the benefit of doing a lot of design and testing in the computer. So yeah, looking pretty good right now. We need to go out and get this thing tested hardcore. So let's get it done. All right, so we just got up to Silver Lake Sand Dunes and we're going to do some testing on the new suspension.